So let me ask you a question. How much is actually enough? It sounds like a simple question, right? But it's a question that, when left unanswered, is at the absolute heart of some of the biggest financial meltdowns we've ever seen. Today, we're going to dive into this really powerful idea, the art and the critical importance of knowing when to just stop chasing more. There's this fantastic story about the authors Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller. They're at the super lavish party, right? Thrown by some billionaire. And Vonnegut turns to Heller and points out that their host, the billionaire, made more money in a single day than Heller had earned from his masterpiece, Catch-22, over its entire lifetime. And Heller's response? It was just perfect. He said, "Yes, but I have something he will never have. Enough." And that, right there, is the crucial point. Heller got it. He understood this fundamental truth that so many people, even incredibly successful people, completely miss. See, when you lose your sense of what enough really means, that hunger for more can push you to do some really reckless, totally self-destructive things. And to really see how high the stakes are here, we don't need to look any further than the cautionary tale of a man who, he seemingly had it all, and then he threw it all away for no good reason. This is Rajat Gupta, and his story is, well, it's just incredible. He was an orphan from Kolkata who, through sheer brilliance and just relentless hard work, climbed all the way to become the CEO of McKinsey, the most prestigious consulting firm in the world. He was on the board of giants like Goldman Sachs. His journey was literally the American dream. By 2008, his net worth was somewhere around $100 million. Now, just stop and think about that number for a second. With $100 million, you can do basically anything you could ever possibly want to do. It is, by any sane person's measure, more than enough. But for Gupta, it wasn't. He didn't just want to be a multimillionaire. He desperately wanted to be a billionaire. He was hanging around with all these private equity tycoons and hedge fund managers who were even richer, and he started to feel like he was in the wrong circle. His entire perspective got completely warped. And this feeling, this need for more, it all led him to a single, life-destroying moment. Back in 2008, he's in a Goldman Sachs board meeting, and he learns that Warren Buffett is about to pump $5 billion into the company to save it. This is massive, market-moving, secret information. The meeting ends, and just 16 seconds later, 16 seconds, Gupta is on the phone, illegally leaking that secret to a hedge fund manager. Gupta risked everything: his reputation, his freedom, his fortune, all of it. He was like a master architect who decided to just pull a cornerstone out of his own building. And you know what? It's the same core flaw we see in someone like Bernie Madoff, who was already running a massively successful, totally legitimate business. Both of these men had already won the game, but they kept playing because they had absolutely no sense of enough. Okay, so that's the what. But why does this happen? What's the psychological trap that can snare even the most brilliant people? Well, it all comes down to something we call the comparison game. Probably the hardest skill in finance, and maybe in all of life, is just getting the goalpost to stop moving. See, this is the trap. Our expectations tend to rise right alongside our results. You get a raise, and you immediately start wanting an even bigger one. You hit your goal, you instantly set a higher one. You never actually get to soak in the feeling of success, because you're already sprinting towards the next thing. And what's the engine that drives this endless chase? The number one culprit, without a doubt, is social comparison. It's that habit of constantly looking around at what other people have and using them as your benchmark for success, instead of just defining it for yourself. Think about it like this. A rookie baseball player making $500,000 a year feels rich, right up until he sees the star player's $30 million contract. But then, even that star player might feel kind of poor when he sees a top hedge fund manager pulling in over $340 million in a single year. The ceiling of social comparison is so ridiculously high that almost nobody ever hits it. There's always someone with more. Playing the social comparison game is a lot like gambling in a casino. The odds are always stacked against you. A Las Vegas dealer once said it perfectly. The only way to win in a casino is to walk out as soon as you walk in. And really, the only way to win the comparison game is to just refuse to play. So, if the game is rigged against us, how do you actually win? Well, the key is to stop playing for more money and start playing to protect the things that are truly, truly invaluable. Look, there are certain things in life that are just priceless. No amount of money is ever worth risking them. Your reputation, which can take a lifetime to build and seconds to destroy. Your freedom, the love and trust of your family and friends, and just your own happiness. These are the real treasures. And the absolute best way to protect these invaluable things is to simply know when it's time to stop taking risks that could put them in danger. It's about realizing that the potential upside of getting more just isn't worth the catastrophic downside of losing what you already have and what you truly need. Warren Buffett, a guy who's a master of not just making money but keeping it, put it best. He said it is plain foolish to risk what you have and need for something you don't have and don't need. That's the ultimate lesson in knowing what enough really means. And that brings us right back around to that central question. Enough isn't some magic number in a bank account. It's a feeling. It's contentment. It's security. It's about resisting that constant pull of looking at what everyone else has and deciding where your own finish line is. So we'll leave you with this. Take a moment and really ask yourself, what is enough for you?